And as we think about that, we must think about strength as a physical thing, but also as a spiritual thing. Because strength is so much more than getting some weights and pumping some iron and seeing your biceps stand out and the triceps strong and all of your muscles firm. Strength is so much more than that. In fact, spiritual strength requires some of the same development that is required in physical strength.
All right.
You have to pump some iron, if you will, some metaphysical iron. And today we're going to talk about some of the things that we can do to develop our spiritual strength.
Amen.
So let's just look at the story of Rosa Parks and how she became such an icon. When we think about the movement, when we think about segregation, racism, all the things that was occurring during the time in which she made a stance against those things, just take yourself back to that particular time and imagine yourself being in the world as Rosa Parks. Think about her age at the time. She was 42 years old when the incident occurred that she decided to sit and not get up when the bus driver said, "I need this seat." Think about that. Some of you may still use public transportation from time to time. There's no place designated for white or black or colored or white or any of those things today. However, if you can imagine yourself way back then and seeing this sign there, first thing, let's know the truth about what happened on that day, because there's lots of things that have been said. Rosa Parks was tired, and she just decided to sit there and not get up because she was too tired to move. But I listened to Rosa Parks' own personal account of that day. She said she wasn't tired. That was not a true statement. She wasn't tired. What she was tired of, it wasn't a physical tired. She was tired of the fact that certain people thought that she was less than, or that her sisters and brothers and family members were less than someone else, and that that other person needed the chair more than she did.
That's right.
She was tired of the injustice. She was tired of someone telling her that she wasn't good enough to have the seat that she was seated in, and that she had to get up and move. That's what she was tired of.
All right, say that.
Okay, so
Make it
let's
plain.
get clear about that. The other thing I want you to think about is the boycott that ensued after this incident. Took place over 381 days. So when we think about strength, we think about tenacity. We think about what does it require for you to be able to last 381 days without a service that definitely took the load off of you, getting you from point A to point B. If you walked a mile to get to the bus stop and then took a bus to go 15 miles to your destination, and now all of a sudden you do not have that source in between to get you those 15 miles, now you got to trek it with your feet. You got to walk those extra miles, or as so many people did during that time, ones that had cars did carpooling, and so people kind of worked together. Unity was required.
Yes.
Strength was required.
All right.
People had to communicate. They had to sit down and draw up schedules and everything. Hey, I'm going this route. I'm going to be going down this street to that street. If you need a ride from here to there, I'm going to need you to be ready at this time. It was no time for bickering and complaining about, oh, I got to get my beauty rest. I can't get up at that time. Do you mean to tell me you expect me to be ready 3 hours earlier than I normally would be just so I can get... No, I don't think I want to follow this boycott thing. There was no time for that. So as I think back to the strength of Queen Rosa Parks, I think about all of those things, and I can see myself having these conversations in my mind, having these conversations with my sister friends, and I'm like saying, whoa, that was a strong woman. Okay? This one defiant act caused a ripple effect. So much so that the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that segregation on public transportation was unconstitutional. Because of all of that effort, all of what so many people did during this period of time, we have a situation today where we can get on any bus, we can ride as far as we need to ride. As long as we got the coins to put in, we're going to be able to get to our destination. We have to be grateful. We have to be grateful for what transpired before our time that has allowed us to live the way we live today.
Amen.
So today, for just a little while, I want to ask that you indulge me as I tell you a story about my own thoughts about what took place before and after this particular account with Queen Rosa Parks. The night before, and this is my story, I made it up. I'm the speaker, so I get a chance to make up my own story today. The night before, Queen Rosa Parks was at an NAACP meeting. She was the secretary, so she took scrupulous notes. She wrote about the injustices that people were in the audience talking about, what had been happening to their friends and family members, how they had been beaten and how things had been taken from them that they had worked so hard for because somebody else decided it belonged to them or that they should have it and not that person who worked so hard for it. She was taking those notes and she was feeling it on the inside. She was feeling, this is just not right. Something has to be done. But she took her notes and did her job at that particular moment. And finally, after the meeting ended, she found one of her sister friends. And they got together and just kind of stealed away over into a quiet room. I'm going to ask my friend Laima to come up here for a moment. And this is what I envision. I'm a metaphysician. I'm a holistic practitioner. So I don't think of things as maybe it was that day. I think of it as it is in my lifestyle and how I do things. So she and her sister friend got together and they touched and agreed. This is what they did. And so they looked at each other and they talked about those things, those injustices. And as they thought about it, they decided to wipe away the things that they had seen. With their hands, they wiped it away. In unity, they gave out prayers. And then they thought about, I'm going to push this stuff back. I'm pushing it away. I'm pushing it away. I don't want this in my life. It's got to go. It's got to go. And then they came to peace. And then they agreed. And so it is. Thank you, Diane. She did not depend just on her own strength. She connected with others who thought and felt the way that she felt.
That's right.
They touched, they agreed, they were in unity. They recognized, I need you to survive.
That's right.
Just as that song we were singing just a few moments ago. Then, after she got home with her husband, and they did their regular things, dinner, taking care of the kids, and all the household things, and she prepared for sleep that night, they talked about it. They discussed everything as husband and wife. But then that morning, the morning of this incident, she woke up. And she got out of bed and she came into a stance of prayer. She was doing her yoga. Yoga is union. She stood in that stance of prayer. And in that prayer, she began to sing. And she said, Om Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om, Shanti Om Shanti Shanti Om. When there is peace in my mind, there will be peace in the earth. And she moved from prayer. And she felt the Spirit just all through her body, because she knew that her prayer for peace was being answered. She felt at peace throughout her entire body because she used the Om, which is to some the vibration of everything that exists, because through that Om, through that word, through that vibration, everything came to be. And so she was feeling that. She was like, I'm good today. It's going to be a great day. I'm about to go get on this bus, get to my destination. Everything is going to be fine. No problem. But she didn't stop with the prayer. She decided she would go to the transformative thought, the soul sacred shift. And then she got to it and she read the title. It says, I strive in strength with the strong one. She affirmed that. I strive in strength with the strong one. I strive in strength with the strong one. She was feeling that. She was strong. She was rooted. She was guarded. She was girded. But she didn't stop there. As she walked to the bus stop, she began to affirm to herself, I am the quintessence of the divine, most perfect of all creation, with power to produce at will seeds that multiply like ripples in an ocean. The personification of I am beautiful, radiant, absolute, and undeniable. I am love. She went to that bus in a spirit of love. She didn't go to that bus trying to cause any type of problem. She had heard during the meetings the NAACP was talking all about nonviolence and how to exercise your rights in a nonviolent way. So she didn't go there and wait for the man to come to her and ask her to get up and move. And she's like, well, honey child, I am not going to move out my chair. You're not going to tell me what to do. She didn't do that. She was very peacefully seated in her chair, and she says, no. It was that simple, no. And so when the officer finally came to her and asked her, why didn't you just get up and move? She said, I didn't feel like I should have to.
Yeah, that's right.
It's that simple. First of all, she was not breaking the law because she did not sit in front of the colored only section. She said that very, very clearly in her interview, and if you watch the movies and everything about this account, that didn't happen. She sat behind the area. So why is it that you gave me a law, you gave me a rule, and then you're going to go against your own rule just because you want to satisfy somebody else getting on the bus? So she said, I don't feel like I should have to do that. And so the officer was like, well, if you're not going to do it, it looks like we're going to have to, get you off of here. You're going to jail. And her response, well, it looks like you might just have to do that. You just might have to take me to jail. She wasn't fearful of going to jail or any type of retribution that might have to be paid for her standing for her rights and what she knew she was due. So I think about this situation, and I think about what was Rosa Parks thinking as the officer handcuffed her and took her on to jail. And I thought about a Bible scripture that says, when the wicked, even my enemies, came to eat of my flesh, they stumbled and fell. Yes. She was thinking these words. She was walking through this process in her mind because in her mind's eye, in the Spirit of God, the Spirit of love within her, as it was speaking to her, it was saying, you're on the right track. You are prepared. You are strong. You are fortified. In fact, you are strength. You are divine strength. And you are walking in your divine purpose.
Yes.
So why is it that we sometimes forget our strength? Why is it that we sometimes believe that we are weak and we can't go forward? We can't do what we were called to do. Is it some type of amnesia? Are we forgetting who we are?
Well,
is it possible that we do not take enough time in the morning to fortify ourselves before we go out into the world? Is it possible that we do not take the time to affirm to ourselves our divine truth? Is it possible that we sometimes forget to pray affirmatively, not pray begging and asking, God, please do this, please do that? Is it possible that we forget that God is within us?
That's right.
And as us.
That's right.
And that anything that we desire or put our mind to, we can do.
That's right. Say that.
During this Women's History Month, we have activists in this room. We have mothers in this room. We have spiritual entrepreneurs in this room. I'm a spiritual entrepreneur, and it's not easy. A spiritual entrepreneur is one who offers services related to or affecting the human spirit, body, and mind and emotions. They take a holistic approach to happiness and overall wellness. But what happens when that spiritual entrepreneur is not standing in their own strength, in their own knowledge, in their own truth? What happens? Well, I'm going to tell you, it doesn't look pretty. In fact, a lot of confusion can occur, because if you are going to someone in search of any of these spiritual related services and that person is not rooted and grounded, you might get some bad advice. Your consultation might not go in such a way that you're going to get what you need out of it. So this is why I do the work that I do as a holistic health coach, working specifically with spiritual entrepreneurs, healing artists, coaches, yoga practitioners, all of those things, because we have to come together and we have to edify one another. We have to lift one another up, and we have to be grounded in our own truth. The fact is, the world is crying out for us to stand in our strength.
That's right.
Amen.
The world is saying, I need you to survive. That's what the world is saying to us. We are metaphysicians. If you're in this space, you're a metaphysician, because you came to a place that has that as the foundation of this ministry. And a metaphysician is just simply one who supports the wellness and well-being spiritually, physically, emotionally of other people and stuff, using metaphysical principles. And these are just really the principles of their divine law, is really all it is. We're using that to help heal and empower and uplift others. But you got to know the truth for yourself.
Amen.
You got to live it. You got to walk it. Because you can't give it to somebody else if it's missing within you.
Amen.
All right.
Sharna said in her prayer earlier that all of the obstacles, the things, the challenges that we see that might appear to be challenges, those are not bad things. They're only created to strengthen. That's our barbell. That's our weight.
That's right.
That's how we build our spiritual muscles. That's how we become stronger and stronger each and every day. So when the Bible talks about being good with whatever is going on in your life, that's really what it's about. Use it. This is something that's making me stronger.
Amen.
Take from it what you need to take from it, learn from it, grow from it, and then get back out there using that newfound information. Not just information anymore. At this point, is knowledge.
That's right.
It turns from information to knowledge when you've experienced it and you've seen on the other side,
right.
Listen, that problem ain't nothing. Huh? What is this? This is nothing. I can make it through all of this. So now you have true knowledge that says you are not alone and that you're going to be taken care of. God is your source.
Amen.
God in you is your source.
Amen.
So as we go through the rest of this month, through this Women's History Month, we acknowledge Rosa Parks. We acknowledge Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. We acknowledge Mary McLeod Bethune. We acknowledge Madam C.J. Walker, Fannie Lou Hamer, Ida B. Wells. We acknowledge Harriet Tubman. We acknowledge all of the women that are here and those that are in transition, they're in the spirit world. We acknowledge one of my favorite mentors, Oprah Winfrey. We acknowledge all of the women who use their divine strength to make it through this thing that we call life. And they have left us with examples. They've left us with a roadmap. They've left us with something that we can see with our eyes, and we have seen what the end result has come to. And now we know for sure, if it's done before, it can be done again.
That's right.
So I present to you, today is your opportunity. Today is your opportunity to stand up. Stand up in that warrior pose. I mean, strong, with all of your muscles and everything engaged. Be strong, warrior princesses. Be strong warriors. Stand in that stance of strength, knowing that you can and you will accomplish whatever it is your divine calling is. You know, I don't know about yours. Mine is to touch the world, to empower in order to purify, commanding flow. I seal the process of universal waters with the overtone tone of radiance. I have my affirmations that I speak to myself each and every day. Stand in yours. And if you don't know what it is, give Dr. Reginald Howard a call. You might not even know it. Besides him being our spiritual leader, he's actually a spiritual counselor too. This man has gone to get his PhD and everything so that he can serve humanity in a greater way. So you can make an appointment. You can make an appointment and set it up, and you can find out what your calling is, what your purpose is. Because I've just found to be true that when you don't walk in it, it's because you don't know what it is. That's generally the main reason why people are not walking in their purpose. They are confused about what it is. Find out what your purpose is, and then walk in it with strength and confidence, because the world is calling out for you today. Thank you very much.